Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So many of you have been DMing me on Instagram asking me to do a little walkthrough of how I did my expository piece for my Communication Studies SBA or IA. And I guess here's the video. Disclaimer though, always check with your teacher because different teachers have different preferences. So my way wouldn't necessarily be your way, but these are the guidelines I got when I was doing my expository piece. So let me not make this intro any longer than it has to be, so I'm gonna stop chatting you out. Alright, firstly guys, the goal of your expository piece is to inform your teacher or your audience about what you've been doing basically throughout this whole research process, because remember, you have a whole topic, you have a theme, you have all of that. So it's basically to tell your teacher what you found out so far, what's your experience been like, so, and to test if you're actually learning the little principles of communication studies that they've been teaching you. Yeah, so remember, it's not an essay, it's a speech. So I cannot stress this enough. Your tone has to be conversational rather than robotic. So you would also be able to or allowed to carry cue cards into the examination room or whatever room you'd be saying your speech in, because remember, it's an oral presentation. So you'll be allowed to bring a cue card or a couple cue cards in there, but you're not allowed to bring your entire speech, so you have to memorize it. And that's basically like the basis of what I'll go through with you now. And I'll be going through the 4 parts, or I did my expository piece in 4 parts. And please excuse me if I'm looking that way, that means I'm reading the speech, and if I'm looking that way, I am writing on the screen. Okay, so yeah, what I'll be doing is basically going through the parts step by step and reading my piece. So let's get started, shall we? All right, so first of all, the 4 parts, you have your introduction, you'll have your body, then you'll have your evaluation of your sources, and lastly, the good old conclusion. All right, so before you actually start doing this, what I did was I got 3 focus questions based on my topic. No, I didn't have time to rewrite a whole exposition, so I'm going to basically do this video using the topic and expository piece that I used for my presentation. So basically, my topic was an exploration into the legalization of marijuana in Jamaica and the impact of the medicinal uses on citizens. All right, so based on that, I got my 3 focus questions, and my questions were: what illnesses is marijuana used to treat? Is marijuana in fact legal in Jamaica? And what are the side effects of marijuana usage? What side effects does the use of marijuana present? And yes, so those were my questions. So I wanted to find out the illnesses. Is marijuana actually legal in Jamaica? And I wanted to find out the side effects. Simple enough, right? Supposedly. So for your introduction, what you want to do, as I had stated in the last video, was you need to mention your theme and you need to mention your topic. All right, Now, what I found was when many of you had DM'd me on Instagram asking me if I think your topic is suitable and your theme, I found that many of you still mixed up what your topic versus your theme was. Now, your theme is the broad thing, like it's the umbrella basically of your research. So it's nothing specific. So my theme was the herbal medical field in Jamaica. And based on that, I developed this topic, an exploration into the legalization of marijuana in Jamaica and the impact of the medicinal uses on citizens. Of course, I added in a specific part of Jamaica in the topic, but I don't think that's important right now. And some teachers don't tell you to add it, so it's not important for this video. Yeah, so that's basically the theme versus the topic. And along with that, you want to actually state your purpose for doing the research, and you want to outline the findings that you'll be discussing in your research, and state some limitations that you actually encountered. So my introduction basically began like this. According to Rick Scalzo, there is no evolution without co-evolution. Now you're probably asking, what? What? Well, that was the point. I wanted my teacher to question what I was saying. And you know that look at teacher give you like get up, like they lift the head, look at you like they're wondering what you're going at now, because bruh. Anyways, so that was the goal. I wanted my teacher to question what I was saying. Then I would have the other sentence to clarify and actually keep the attention of my audience. So I said, after that, medicinal plants have emerged over eons in a co-evolutionary dance with humans. And of course, I used up my literary devices. I didn't flood my speech with literary devices, but I did include some to make it a bit more interesting. Marijuana for many years have benefited Jamaica's tourism sector dynamically, as the plant has been a muse in reggae, and through this Jamaica has become the birthplace of the ganja stereotype. However, through recent research, many alternative uses of marijuana were uncovered, and not soon after, it came to light Jamaica's intent to venture into the medicinal uses. And why not? Here I use what we call a rhetorical question. Alright? And yeah, probably shouldn't have written over that, but I chose to do it anyways. Yeah. So I used a rhetorical question right there, and I said, and why not? As many Jamaicans have their own personal natural pharmacy in their very own backyards, right? Because we have the cerasee, the fever grass. I think my grandmother said something about blood bush one time. I don't know what that is. Anyways, this presentation encompasses research done in the herbal medical field in Jamaica. And right there, guys, is where I introduced my theme. Then I went on to say, bearing an investigation into the legalization of marijuana in Jamaica and the impact of the medicinal uses on citizens. And that's where I introduced my topic. Yeah. Involving the ailments it's used to treat, the status of marijuana in Jamaica, as well as the side effects of the usage of marijuana. So that's where I outlined that I was going to speak about my findings. Now, of course, you have to make this brief because you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes to say your speech. All right? And also, the challenges encountered during the research process, and an evaluation of my sources. So I further outlined what else I'd be speaking about. So I spoke about mentioning limitations. I in fact didn't include my limitations in my introduction, and I'll explain to you why later. For me, it was because of organizational purposes and I wanted my speech to flow. So that's why I didn't include the limitation in the introduction. And it's not setting in stone the structure of your expository piece. You should tweak it however you feel fit and feel most comfortable, because at the end of the day, you have to make the speech work for you, because you'll be the one saying it and you can't afford to release a load of crap on it, if you get what I'm saying. And also, yes, I read that already. Furthermore, how this topic impacted me will be revealed, as the principal reason for choosing this topic is to clear up many misconceptions, which manages to make the field of medicine a foggy voyage to no real destination. And that's how I ended my introduction. I stated why I actually did this topic or chose to do this, okay? And that's where I stated my purpose, and I didn't elaborate much on it. I just said one sentence because I needed to get everything, on the table so I could move on to my findings and move to what I believe is the most important part of the expository piece, which is the evaluation of your sources. And that's the part I had the most fun with, to be honest. Yes. So let us move down to the body. So the body is where you will answer your focus questions. So remember, my 3 focus questions dealt with who or what type of illnesses the marijuana is used to treat, whether or not marijuana is actually legal in Jamaica, and the side effects of the usage of marijuana. So in the body, that's where you want to actually answer your focus questions and make it as concise as possible. Know how fast you can speak and what the amount of words you can actually remember. And not speaking fast. By speaking fast, I don't mean rushing your speech, but actually pacing yourself well enough to get through that 10 minutes and say everything and get all your points in without confusing your teacher, and actually getting them to understand the points you're trying to bring across. So that's important. So in just June of 2019, Jacqueline Charles tells the story of a tourist who obtained marijuana legally in Jamaica simply by answering a few questions at the old Casablanca hotel at which she was staying at the time. There she was given a medical card which allowed her to purchase marijuana grown locally. Right now, this is a phenomenon. The words of Christopher Bird-Eye Gordon, owner of Island Strains Herb House in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Just 2 years after Jamaica began awarding cannabis licenses for medical, therapeutic, and scientific uses, being the first Caribbean country to decriminalize ganja, the government still struggles to find its footing in the global marijuana sphere, or in the legal medical marijuana sphere, sorry. Now, why might I say this? Well, do you remember that little word decriminalized? There's a huge difference between decriminalized and legalized. Yes. I stressed the word decriminalized when I said being the first Caribbean country to decriminalize ganja. And I stressed decriminalized because I wanted to draw my audience's attention to that word, because then I would be speaking about 2 words that sound very familiar, but they are so different. Decriminalized versus legalized. So I said no, the legalization of cannabis. Now, remember when I told you that this is a speech, not an essay, so make it conversational. Write your speech exactly how you talk, exactly how you speak write a speech like that. I speak, sorry, using a lot of fillers. So, yes, so I use words such as so, I don't make it a habit to use because it's not a word. And I use no a lot and like. I'm trying to break the habit of the like because I drop like where like isn't supposed to be. So I said, no, the legalization of cannabis is the process of removing all legal prohibitions against it, while the decriminalization of cannabis means it would be remain illegal, but the legal system would not prosecute a person for possession under a specified amount. Jamaica is now banking on the decriminalization of medical marijuana as many herb houses, or there are many herb houses for tourists and locals alike. Jamaica's legislature voted to amend the nation's law in 2015, and here the many misapprehensions arose in the minds of Jamaicans. The decriminalization of marijuana made it far from legal. That was my point. As the law was passed for practitioners of the Rastafarian faith, allowing them to only use for religious purposes. Also, the law caters to those who possess a medical card, and trading without a license would have led to prosecution. Cannabis sativa is treated or is used to treat mental health conditions such as schizophrenia and post-traumatic stress disorder, which we all know commonly as PTSD. It is also used to treat patients who suffer from eating disorders such as anorexia and cancer patients. According to the World Health Organization, about 25% of cancer patients use marijuana to relieve a variety of pains and nausea caused by chemotherapy. However, although cannabis is used to help with all these illnesses, prolonged use may cause dizziness, quickening of the heart rate, hypotension, that's low blood pressure, bloodshot eyes, and depression. There, I was done answering my focus questions. Seems a bit long now, but trust me, it wasn't. Yep. After that, you want to move on to the evaluation of your sources. What I did was I stated the limitations of my research, then I went on to evaluate my sources. And that's because when I was speaking about the limitations of my research, I was speaking about where I got my sources or my information from. So I was introducing my sources there. So I didn't want to introduce my sources in the introduction and then go to the body, then speak about why my sources were valid or best fit for the information which I provided. So that's why I did my limitation after I did the body. But as I said, structure it however you feel is most appropriate for your topic and how you speak, as well as, the normal stuff like sentence structures, paragraph structure, or organization. So stuff like that. So I started to speak about the limitations I had with my research. And I said I was fruitful in gathering such information. However, there were many challenges in obtaining it. Attaining valuable data through Vox Medicus had proven to be a great challenge due to the lack of neurologists in Jamaica. Now, I could have just said interviews with doctors, but me extra. So I said Vox Medicus, alright? It's Latin for voice of the medical profession or voice of the medical, doctors. I had discovered that though there are many students who study medicine in Jamaica and actually graduate medical school as practicing physicians, they don't pursue fields such as neurology, and I found that there are many other specialties which are lacking in the medical field in Jamaica. Also, the topic of marijuana seemed to be quite a taboo subject per se, and I found that not many people wanted to speak on the issue. Through it all, I was able to obtain the necessary information through medical journals published by the University of the West Indies, And what else? Website articles from the World Health Organization and political updates on the topic published through the Jamaican Gleaner. I think it's called the Jamaica Gleaner. I don't know why I said Jamaican Gleaner. I think it's the Jamaica Gleaner. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, so the limitations there were what I, found with my wrong, or the challenges that I had when I was doing my research. Now, for the love of God, don't put Wi-Fi issues or not having access to Wi-Fi as a limitation. Of course, it's a real struggle because yeah, you know what I mean. Wi-Fi ain't really acting like Wi-Fi these days. Anyways, um Wi-Fi issue is not a plausible or feasible limitation, so don't put that. Find something else, I guess. So you can see where I introduced my sources. So I said I got them through medical journals published by the University of the West Indies, or people from the University of the West Indies. Also, articles from the World Health Organization and political updates published in the Jamaica Gleaner. So the medical journal, my primary source of data, was published based on research done by Dr. Henry Lowe, chairman of the Environmental Health Foundation in Kingston, Jamaica, Professor Errol Morrison, which is the Dean of Schools for Graduate Studies and Research, and also at the University of the West Indies. Also, I organized this in bullet points so that I did the name of the person and their position, and also said Miss Nadine Wilkins, Senior Project Officer in the project's office and the University of the West Indies, right? At the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, of course. And the topic is an ongoing probe and has yet to come to a final solution. So this proves that my topic is current because it's something still being researched. The information which I obtained from the journal were related to my topic, so it's relevant and also corresponds with other sources which I had grappled with. So it's cohesive with other articles which I had read. So, the information here is, of course, not in the same words, but it's bringing across the same message, is what I was trying to say. My secondary source of data, the newspaper articles published through the Jamaica Gleaner, have proven to be valid and reliable. Why might I say this? As the Gleaner has been providing Jamaica with information from as early as 1834, and I think September 13 to be exact was the release of the first actual Gleaner paper. I don't remember the exact date, but I think it's September 13, 1834. Not relevant right now. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Also, most journalists for the Gleaner are published authors, and usually they write on serious issues. So that was my point. That was my stance. Yes. After, you want to move on to your conclusion, and basically what you're doing in your conclusion is you're going to sum it all up. Sum it all up. Everything I said in like couple sentences, one to five. Not even, I don't know. I write extremely short conclusions. I can't write one sentence conclusions for my essays because I don't know. I don't see why I have to talk about everything I just said. So I just make one concluding statement. However, for this, it wasn't one statement. I said, all in all, I can say that this research process had uncovered with that which it had set out to find and is therefore successful. Amen. This investigation helps me to understand the situation and the status of marijuana in Jamaica and its potential for growing as a backbone for culture and medicine. Yes, so that's what I said, and that's basically my expository piece. I will link it, a copy of the document as well as the outline of the steps, down below in the description. And as usual, if you're seeing this, that means you've made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. So you know what to do. Drop a like, comment. You don't be afraid, don't be shy. You can always hit me up on Instagram at young_genius.official. Yes, I changed the handle. I'm sorry about that for those who, you know, search me for from the, previous handle, but I thought it was fitting for me to change it. And also, you can hit me up on my personal at _CAM_EO. Hit the notification bell so you know every time I post. And feel free to suggest what you want me to do next. I'm here to help you guys. So I think that's it. And I better cue the outro. I'm not adding an outro. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, last thing. I'm so sorry. If you need a tutor, go to my Instagram, DM me, or you can text or call 876-501-1966 and I will pair you with a tutor. Yes, at a reasonable price. So I guess I'm done. So until next time, you know what to do. Dream big. I dare you to do that. Dream big. Bye, guys.